Hello everybody, we are here, 1495 Sports, proudly presenting episode 3. We made it, Mom. Episode 3 of The Mixer with Steven Dumeng, and here we're talking to you about MMA, mixed martial arts, one of the best sports in the world, in the only state where it's not legal. Our troublesome woes here being a New Yorker. We still bring you an MMA show regardless. So hopefully one day authorities don't come after me for talking about something illegal in the state where it's not legal. So hopefully we got to get through this one day. Come on, I'm still praying. I know we have supporters left and right. We're jumping right into the mixer. We got to get MMA in New York still. And Matt Serra, I actually received, funny enough, I received a piece of mail from, I don't know who it was, some MMA support site, I guess. And they were telling us to proudly sign it back to, you know, endorse MMA in New York. And I did. And I'm still waiting patiently. Because MSG, Chris Weidman, Lyoto Machida, that would be amazing. But sadly, well, maybe Chris Weidman, Machida too. Ha. One day. But unfortunately, we're going to have to keep waiting. So, in any case, we're here with episode 3, 1, 2, 3, to talk about some MMA things that have been going on. I know it's been on a bit of a hiatus, if you will, but episode 3 is here, and I'm ready to tell you all about what's been going on lately, and we'll jump right into it. Usually I start with UFC. Actually, as you can see, I have this UFC shirt on, so by proxy, that must mean that I have some ounce of knowledge, I guess, especially when I'm at the bar, because anyone who wears a UFC shirt at the bar definitely knows what they're talking about. So I should too, right? No, I'm kidding. So in any case, for those who didn't catch that sarcasm, I'm being extremely sarcastic. Anyone who doesn't wear a UFC shirt is stupid. But they should. I like this one. I don't know where I got it from, but it's cool. And I like it. And I usually talk about the shirts I wear. So it's red, my favorite color. For those, pay attention to me. That's awesome. Enjoy it. Let's do it. We recently had Bellator, which I was saying at the start of the show. Usually I start with UFC. We're jumping right into Bellator because there's been some Bellator goodness, actually, as of late. I've been enjoying the last few weeks with Bellator MMA, and minus a couple of fairly embarrassing moments, King Mo, Rampage Jackson. It was not, the shows themselves were awesome. Very back and forth action, excellent showcase of MMA in terms of, you know, fights like Eduardo Dantas retaining his bantamweight belt. I'm sorry, featherweight belt. I caught myself. Featherweight belt against a very durable WC veteran, Anthony Leone, which was an awesome kind of like comeback victory that we saw from champ Dantas and keeping his Bellator streak alive, if you will, and hopefully prepping up some matches with other Bellator contenders. Speaking of contenders, there's the very, how do we even put it? Bellator has this pay-per-view thing going on. It's coming in May. I know a lot of people have, especially online, have been panning this. They haven't really even given much of a, I guess, price point. I remember the first time they tried one of these little PPV ideas, it kind of went down the drain because Ortiz kind of messed up his neck and Rampage bowed out, and yeah, there was no PPV. So to keep with contracts, Eddie Alvarez. So we have another pay-per-view attempt coming in May featuring a very, very promising matchup in Eddie Alvarez versus Michael Chandler 3, episode 3. Well, you know, keeping the 3s intact. They have their third fight coming out, and I know each man has their own win over each other. Alvarez taking the most recent, a split decision win, in what was an instant classic last year. Both of these guys easily can match up with any of the top 10 lightweights in not only the world, but specifically in the UFC. And that fight alone, you know, even if you're not a huge Bellator fan, as a fan of MMA, you should do yourself a favor and stop by. You know, I know they show a lot. You see that bad, you know, bad butt. I don't know if we can say the A, triple S out here. Double S. I don't know my triples. I'm on episode 3. But Michael Chandler, who always represents Dave & Buster's on those awesome little Spike TV commercials I see all the time. Maybe they'll be showing at Dave & Buster's, because I don't even know if they show Bellator at, well, they haven't done a PPV, so we don't know. So hopefully they show it at the bars, because that's where I usually find my awesome self. And that'd be great to see Chandler and Alvarez throw down, because I don't want to, you know, as much as I love Bellator I mean, it's a fairly solid company. I don't really want to, I mean, if it's going to be $45, that's steep. I don't know how I feel about that. It's rough. So if they could show it at the bar, that'd be awesome. Maybe Michael Chandler will show up. Well, actually, probably not New York, unless I go and travel, which is doubtful. So, okay, he's not going to show up like the commercials and be all cool. But anyways, he'll have an awesome fight with Alvarez, and I'm assuming, I'm going to call it now, months in advance, I think Alvarez is going to walk away the champ in another very highly contested matchup, taking a unanimous decision against Michael Chandler. And also joining that fight card, pay-per-view, will be Rampage Jackson versus King Mo, which should be some... should be a good fight. I mean, I think that we'll see Rampage knock King Mo out either in the first or second round. I think Rampage has been looking better as of late in comparison. I mean, don't get me wrong, the level of talent he's been fighting hasn't been top 10 in my opinion, but he's been smashing the Bellator competition. I think he's going to continue to rise and give what Bellator wants anyways, which is him as champion. So I think he's going to easily get through King Mo. And that scuffle thing, that I think that TNA contract promotion thing that they've been doing with people, the whole little TNA cross-promoting, I think it got to them, because that scuffle was something short of hilariously bad. Clearly, it was very forced. It was very uncomfortable to watch. But, you know, it happened, unfortunately. And honestly, a fight like King Mo versus Rampage, you don't even need something as lame as a bootleg-looking scuffle as something like that. Honestly, these two guys have highlight reels. Even in Bellator alone, you know, we've seen King Mo knock Seth Petrozelli out cold. He's had his own other knockouts. Same with the two fights we've seen with Rampage. We don't need a nonsense, and this coming from someone who's actually associated with the wrestling business. We don't need something like that. You know, it's just, if you're gonna do it right. You know what I mean? Like Sarah and Hughes, that was entertaining. That's how you do it. Don't do it so half. It was very, very lame, and hopefully we just let the highlight reel talk, because Rampage and King Mo are both, you know, say what you will about them, they're both talented fighters, and I think it'll be a great, great fight regardless. And hopefully Bellator makes maybe 3 or 4 additional fights for that fight card, and we have an excellent PPV. And maybe one of these two men will meet fighters from tomorrow. Actually, it's Friday, yeah, we're on Thursday. Tomorrow's fight card with Emmanuel Newton finally rematching the current light heavyweight champion. If you guys don't even know who he is, I can't blame you. He hasn't fought in literally over a year. Is Attila Vey, and they'll be rematching for the light heavyweight belt, unification bout, because Vey was injured, apparently. And he's going to be there to finally defend his belt. And I don't know, I mean, I think Newton did lose the first fight by decision. I think Newton's been the stronger fighter, he's been fighting obviously more actively, and not to mention he's just been fighting better competition. The last win that Vey had posted was a decision. I believe it was a win over Christian Mapumbu, who we most recently saw steamrolled by Quentin Rampage Jackson. So that was over a year ago. I think Vey's going to have some ring rust. I think Newton's going to be a stronger fighter. He'll actually be able to unify the belts and become the undisputed light heavyweight Bellator champion and defend it, I'm assuming, against Rampage later this year. Moving forward, we had some more MMA action. We're jumping to the UFC. Ultimate Fighting Champion, just bleed. But I guess if you can watch it on Fight Pass, or you can just do what I do and just go on YouTube and Daily Motion and find the fights that you care about, because Fight Pass sucks. Still, it's been months. Can you please get it on my PS3, 4, Xbox 360, something? Please, I'm begging you guys, make it happen. Please. You know, I support products all the time. I support the sport. Come on. Make it happen. Make it easy for me. I want to watch it. But in any case, there was a couple of awesome fights that did happen. The main events, notably, we saw Alexander Gustafsson put a smash in on Jimmy Manuwa, making him 13-1. And we saw Gustafsson record a knockout win in the second round and a highlight reel finish for him. And, you know, Manuwa had said that it was a bit of an early stoppage. I kind of disagree with him on that one. He really got kneed badly, and then followed up on some nasty ground and pound from that Viking scream that we saw from Gustafsson. So I think Gustafsson's on another level, very talented fighter, and I think he's ready for John Jones. pending John Jones getting through, you know, Glover Teixeira, which should be an awesome fight coming up in a few months. Also, we saw Dong-Hyun Kim register probably knockout of the year, honestly. It's only been 3 months in, but knockout of the year. First off, spinning techniques in MMA aren't even common. He caught him with a spinning back elbow, not a fist, not a back kick, elbow, and knocked him out cold. It was insane. Highlight reel finish for the typically boring Dong-Hyun Kim, who's been making a resurgence in his finishing status as 2 highlight reel knockouts back-to-back for Kim, making a surge in the welterweight division, and hopefully building a case for a welterweight title shot, which has been a bit of that whole division has gone into some kind of shamble, if you will, leaving, you know, George St. Pierre recently left, Hendricks going to UFC 171. Hendricks is now the current UFC welterweight champion. We saw him defend against a very gritty matchup against Robbie Lawler. It was always durable, eating a bunch of bombs in that fight. Very entertaining matchup. And Hendricks retained, or actually, well, acquired rather, his own belt, his own welterweight title, and people have been wondering who he's going to fight next. There's been a lot of buzz as to who he should fight next. Some people, media outlets out there, crazy enough to suggest, and I mean, this is coming from a huge, and I mean, I'm a huge Nick Diaz fan. Nick Diaz is probably one of the most entertaining fighters in all of MMA, and people are thinking, you know, that it's a good idea that a fighter coming off 2 losses, one to George St. Pierre, Condit as well, prior to that, should get a welterweight title shot. Don't get me wrong. I know the welterweight division is kind of needing a promising draw. Diaz would be one of those guys. But, I mean, I think it would be disrespectful and kind of, I mean, Diaz needs to get a win. I don't care what anyone says. And I'm a huge Diaz fan. I think the fight would be awesome. But, honestly, Hendricks versus Diaz, regardless of what you say, 5-round decision for Hendricks. He's gonna, you know, kind of pop him here and there, get takedowns that Diaz unfortunately won't be able to fend off. And, you know, we're gonna see another 5-round loss for Diaz, and then he's gonna retire again. So I'd rather see him pick up a fight against, you know, maybe Hector Lombard, you know, even Dong-Hyun Kim, and maybe see if one of those guys can get a chance at Diaz. And then we should see, honestly, of all the fighters, I think most logically, I know a lot of people don't really like him, and this is no bias, honestly, because I'm a Diaz fan. I think Rory McDonald, I think he should get the next title shot. He didn't put the most exciting win over Demian Maia. He most recently picked up a win, Rory McDonald, but logically, it's the only thing that makes sense. He came off the loss to Lawler. Prior to that, he had a really good streak going on in the welterweight division. I think we should give it to McDonald, and I know UFC is about politics, so is wrestling, a bunch of other things. Just don't give it to Diaz. I mean, we'll lose some integrity. I mean, Chael Sonnen has done it enough. I mean, Diaz has gotten his own title shots off loss prior, not to mention Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar fight. Edgar was coming off a loss, got his own title shot. Let's kind of give some, you know, some of these guys that have been trying some, I don't know, some buzz. And also we saw Carlos Condit, fan favorite, natural born killer, get taken out, sadly, by injury by Tyron Woodley, T-Wood, who registered a really good performance, not to knock him on the injury for kind of more or less, for say what you will. He did land the takedown against Condit. The takedown did interfere with his knee injury that he sustained, and not to mention he ended up leg kicking the knee that kind of put him down. So it wasn't the most, I guess, clean finish, if you will, or the most definitive finish, but Woodley was looking great in that fight. Do I think he deserves a title shot? Maybe not yet, but, you know, he's 3-2 in the UFC. He had a great knockout over Koscheck, and he picked up another prior. He had a win over Haran. Both knockouts there. I think he can, you know, it solidifies him as a contender, definitely, but I don't think he should get the title shot. I'm still going to go with Rory McDonald on that one. So, also going forward with the Fight Pass card woes, hopefully the next couple of cards will get better, because UFC 171 we saw another, like, I believe, like 9 decisions. Oh man, that's too many decisions. It's killing me. Please, let's get some finishes, guys. Let's get some wins. Let's get some, well, everyone's getting wins, but let's get some submissions, some knockouts, some TKOs, please. I'm begging you. But either way, it was a great set of fights regardless, from UFC 171 and all the past UFC fight cards that have been going on. The main events, at least, that I just tuned in on Daily Motion or YouTube to catch, were worth watching. So Fight Pass I still don't believe was worth it, but, you know, moving forward, we have a fight card going to Fox Sports 1, and also will be partially on Fight Pass. We'll have the rematch between Shogun Henderson, Mauricio Shogun Hua, and Dan Henderson, their second bout, which should be very awesome. We saw their first fight about a year ago or so, and which was easily one of the best fights from that year. And we saw Henderson pick up a very, very back and forth decision win. And honestly, both of these guys have their back against the wall. You know, it sucks because when this was first announced the very first time, this wasn't a fight I wanted to watch as someone who was a fan of both guys. But yeah, it is what it is. You're going to have to fight, right? So Shogun's coming off that brutal knockout win over James Tahuna. Henderson, unfortunately, is riding a 3-fight skid with decision losses to Machida. He has decision loss. Also, that squeezed in there. He has a knockout loss to Vitor Belfort, who we recently saw. That was his last fight, Henderson, Vitor Belfort. And, you know, these guys really, really need the win badly. You know, Shogun's been trying to get out of that win-loss that he's been trading. And, I don't know, I think such a tough fight to call. Even the first fight was tough because I like guys. I mean, I wish it was a draw. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be a Mark. I'm sorry. I wish it was a draw, but what can you do? Both guys are going to have to come in. I think they're going to give you another 5-round war, and I'm going to go with Dan Henderson again by unanimous decision. It should be another excellent scrap. I think it's going to get technical for the first minute, and then it's going out the window. It's going to be another bloodbath, like brawl fest. Just bleed, right? It should be awesome. I'm excited to watch it. You can watch that upcoming weekend, along with Bellator, with Emmanuel Newton defending, or trying to defend, his belt, whatever belt they have. He's going to unify a belt against a fighter he's seen before in Attila Vey. It should be an awesome weekend for MMA. I'm excited to watch more of it as usual. And I'm so happy you guys have tuned in. I honestly want to give a lot of thanks and support. We have a lot of things coming up down the pipe here with me in 1495. We have great things. Hopefully get some, I know even though this whole thing's not legal here, which is unfortunate. It's kind of nonsense. I've been through that enough. We have some things coming up. There's a lot of great things, some partnerships, if you will, that I'll be alluding to. You'll be seeing. Hopefully, we can get some MMA fighters from Long Island. I know Gadana just picked up a win. Aljamain Sterling recently picked up a win. Both those fighters are out in Long Island. Hopefully, from one Long Islander to another. We also have Cesar Gracie's gym out here. It should be some good stuff. Hopefully, we can make some things happen, and I'm excited. It's always fun. I'm glad you guys tune in. Enjoyed the show, hopefully. And episode 4 should be coming within the next few weeks. But we'll be back here to talk best. Even though I'm by myself and I refer to us as a we, it's fine because you and me. Leave any comments. There'll be an awesome little link here where you can follow us. You got the Facebook page up. We're working a whole bunch of other things. It takes time. It's only episode 3. Give us time. But hopefully we got some more things down the pipe that you'll be tuning into. It's been nothing but a pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 3 of The Mixer with yours truly, Steven Dumeng. Stay tuned for more and more. Brought to you proudly by 1495 Sports. Enjoy the shows, guys.